Welcome. I'm Carl Frederick, and I will be interviewing individuals for Kenosha Voices, an oral history project of the Kenosha County Historical Society in conjunction with Kenosha Community Media. I have worked in newspapers for more than 40 years as an editor and a reporter. 38 and a half of those years were at the Kenosha News. I am also a member of the Kenosha County Historical Society Board. We hope you enjoy these programs.
I'm speaking with Sue Richey and David Lawless, creators of H2O Adaptive Sports. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
What is your family history in Kenosha County?
I grew up on Powers Lake in the summers, and our family was there for many, many years. And then I kept my ties with the people in the Twin Lakes and Powers Lake area since then.
Okay, David?
Okay. In 2003, I was with a charity, Dreams for Kids, that started supporting the newly started adaptive program that was the Aquanuts Adaptive up at Twin Lakes, Wisconsin. So from 2003 to 2018, I was with Dreams for Kids, and we helped support them both financially. We helped support with recruiting participants for the different events. And it was obviously in 2018 when H2O Adaptive Sports started. So although I'm a Chicago resident, I spent the last 2 decades up at Twin Lakes doing adaptive, as well as Alpine Valley Ski Resort.
Okay. So when was the organization formed?
Well, we've been doing adaptive sports since 1998. When we first started doing it, I was an employee. I was a show skier, and then I became an occupational therapist at the Rehab Institute of Chicago. And I noticed that they had wheelchair basketball and other sports, but I never saw adaptive water skiing or snow skiing. So that's when Dave and Dreams for Kids came in and partnered with us at RAC, and we brought a group out from California that trained us how to do the adaptive water skiing. And the snow ski, we've been doing it since then too, Dave, right? And then we kept it going on our own with the support of the Aquanut Water Show team. And then we became very large. We had lots of participants, people who wanted to do this. So in order for us to keep our program going smoothly and that we had more input on how to keep things running, we started H2O Adaptive Sports in 2018.
Okay. And what was is the purpose of H2O Adaptive?
Our mission is to provide recreational and or competitive water skiing and snow skiing to participants who have varying disabilities, which doesn't allow them to participate in these kinds of activities without adaptive equipment. So we provide the equipment, the trained staff, and the whole experience for them, and free of charge for us. It's a volunteer organization. We all do this because we love it. So we've been providing those experiences for people all from the Kenosha area down to Chicago and Milwaukee, the whole area. People come from all over just to participate in our programs.
And you touched on it a little bit. What are your backgrounds in either water sports or snow skiing?
Yeah, my background. Yeah, go ahead, Dave. You go first.
Well, my background comes from avid water skier and snow skier my whole life. I got in, I was brought into the charity side, the adaptive side, when I had a family member pass, and we had a family foundation, and he was a snow skier and water skier. So I'm doing exactly what my brother would have done if he was still alive. So being an avid snow skier, it was very easy for me to take on the snow ski side of the program, which then Susan has all the capabilities on the water ski side. So it was a good match.
And I too was an avid water skier and snow skier my whole life. And it really was my favorite activity to do. I met many friends through that venue, through these sports. And so I wanted to be able to provide that for
Okay.
people with disabilities.
And you mentioned that the Rehab Institute of Chicago played a role in this initially.
Yes. Yes, that's where I was employed as an occupational therapist. And that's where I saw all the adaptive sports come into play. And then I inquired about having adaptive snow ski and water skiing.
Okay, and were they helping you out financially or equipment wise in the early years?
Yes, they did. They did provide some initial equipment, also through Adaptive Adventures, which was another organization that we partnered with at that time. And through Dreams for Kids was really our main organization that provided us with the opportunities, the equipment, and the staff to support our programs.
Okay, and what kind of clinics or how often do you provide these activities on both the water and the ski side?
On the ski side, we provide 5 days throughout January and March, with also, training days for our staff in December. And those are Sundays at Alpine Valley, Wisconsin.
And then what is the procedure, or what do the participants do?
So we are, and you can actually see in Sue's background some pictures from our snow ski side. Whether it's a person with a disability that doesn't have mobility, and then they're in one of our different sit ski apparatus, or in a lot of situations, it's just people who don't have the complete ability to do upright skiing by themselves. So we do from full upright ski lessons to a quadriplegic coming up in his wheelchair and getting on a sit ski, getting on a chairlift, and really experiencing, something that they can't do by themselves. Even their parents cannot offer this environment for them, because just to put a person on the mountain, it takes 3 people, and then very expensive equipment to support that.
Okay, and how many participants do you have over the 5 days?
So on an individual day, we will have anywhere from like 14 to 18 participants. What they are promised is they're promised 2 times on the mountain, for at least 1 hour sessions each time. So they're able to get on the mountain, get their skiing in, come off, get a rest period in, get some food, and then we get them back out on the mountain shortly. And then we at least promise that they get to come at least 2 times during the year, depending on their schedules and stuff. Last year, I had 70 or 60, like 5 individual participants, and we did over 1,500 chairlift rides
Okay.
throughout the season.
And on the water ski side?
Yeah, so on the water ski side, we do 5 or 6 days throughout the summer. We host anywhere from 30 to 50 skiers each event. And they come in the morning, they get to go in their adaptive ski equipment. They get one full ride around the lake, Lake Mary, which is a long, probably about 10-minute ride around the lake. Then they come in and take a break, and then they get to go again in the afternoon. And then some of our big events, we provide food and other activities. We have a extreme recess day that originated from Dreams for Kids, and now we've adopted it, and we provide food. Dave comes and cooks out for everybody. We have hamburgers, chicken, everything. And then we have bounce houses and water slides, fishing, other land activities that they can participate in while they're waiting for their next ski turn. And then we also have a autism day that's sponsored by Abbott Laboratories. And at that day also we do food trucks, and we have tie-dyeing activities and other things on land where they can participate in while they're waiting for their turn to ski. And we also have boat rides. for people who, and they put the wheelchairs right on the pontoon boat. So
And
that they really enjoy.
what are the ages of the people who participate?
I think the youngest we had was 3 years old, and the oldest was about 70, I think, years old. So all ages.
Okay, and David, same?
Same. Until the partnership with when we started H2O Adaptive, we were solely just kids on the snow ski side. And in 2018, when we partnered, we expanded it through all ages.
Okay, and as we earlier stated, the Rehab Institute was involved early on with funding as well as helping with equipment. And how did that change over time?
Well, that was originally how we partnered with Dreams for Kids and RIC. And then they had, like, probably about 5 years after that, in the early 2000s, they had some changes in their programming where they were no longer able to support our program. So that's when we looked for Dreams for Kids to continue to support us, both with volunteers and financially. And then the Aquanaut water ski show team provided us with the boats and the volunteers to help out. And they still do volunteer. Now that we have funding through Abbott and other organizations, we were able to acquire our own boats. So we have a ski boat, and then we have personal watercrafts that follow along in the water with a driver and a person who's a jumper, so that in case someone should lose the rope or fall while they're out, they jump in and they help them get back up and get started. So we've acquired all of that, as well as a whole, you can see our trailer is full of adaptive water ski and snow ski equipment.
Right, and you mentioned this is relatively expensive equipment.
Mhm.
How much does it cost to have this equipment available for both of your programs?
Well, I can talk about the water skis are about 4,000 a piece. So, and then we have to have different sizes for of the seats. So it's pretty expensive. That's why we have acquired funding, and then we allow this opportunity for people, because it's very hard for families, as you can imagine, to not only buy a piece of equipment like that, but to have the staff trained to follow along and make sure they're safe. And as an occupational therapist, that's my role, is to make sure every person is fitted correctly in the sit ski. Or we do have several participants who have like an amputated limb, and they can still stand up and ski. And so we provide that training for them. And Dave, you can talk about the winter.
Yeah, our equipment's a little more expensive. Well, once you get past the boats and the personal watercraft.
Yeah.
But mattering the size and the ability of the sit ski, they're anywhere from $3,000 up to $10,000-$11,000 a piece.
Wow.
And currently we are running 8 pieces of equipment on the mountain.
Okay. What about insurance? Does that come into play, and where does the
Yep.
money come from?
Absolutely.
I was just doing that this morning, Sue. We got
Yep.
a renewal from Marsh McLennan for the winter season. So we're very lucky that we do have some ties into the insurance industry to give us the best possible insurance that's available. It's not your typical insurance. It's I think we're insured under recreational sports programs. So it's not as cumbersome as you would think. Water on the snow ski side, we are covered under the lift ticket program. So the fact when you purchase a lift ticket from the ski hill, there's liabilities that you take on, which helps cover with the insurance. So.
And on the water ski side, it's each participant and volunteer is insured through USA Water Ski and Wake Sports program. So they sanction all our events, so that each skier and volunteer is insured if anything were to happen. But I will say, knock on wood, since 1998, we've never had anyone that got hurt in any way. So that's a good thing.
Yes. Okay. Dave already mentioned where the snow ski activities take place, and you alluded to Lake Mary. Where do you
Mhm.
actually host the water ski events?
Yes, we host them at the Aquanaut Ski Show site, which is fully accessible. So we usually do, I think most of our events are Mondays, except for our extreme recesses on a Thursday. But it's a quiet day on the lake on Mondays. And like I said, the show site is fully accessible, and we get that approved through the town of Twin Lakes.
Yeah, and that is Lance Park in
Okay.
Twin Lakes, Wisconsin.
Okay. And how do participants sign up, or how do they learn about your activities?
Mostly through our website, H2O That's where our registration is, and we post the dates for all the programs. We also have accumulated many regulars, and so word of mouth is always parents talk to each other, and other participants let others know. So since we've been around so long, word spreads quickly, but our website is our main registration site.
Do you find that there's a waiting list for people who want to participate?
Absolutely. We always do, because, like I said, word spreads, and it's such an amazing day for the participants, whether it's the water ski or the snow ski. They have such a wonderful time. And our motto is always that we do it for the smiles, because every single person that goes out just comes back smiling and so happy that they were able to experience this kind of activity.
Do you have any brief stories of people who have done either and what their reaction was coming off the mountain or off this water?
You start, Sue.
Yeah, I do. So I also, because I'm an occupational therapist, many of my clients and students come to these events, and they have followed us through the years. So a couple of my students have been coming since they were 10 years old, and now they're in their late 20s. But they come every single event because they love it. They love, hanging out with us. They love participating. It makes them feel so good. Um, we've had several articles in the Kenosha News where it shows that they've interviewed some of our participants, and they talked about how special this day is for them, and how the parents tell us that their kids look forward to it all year long until they can come out and participate in one of these events.
I'll do a snow and a water. One of the most heart-wrenching scenes is the water skiing, when you look and there's 3 or 4 wheelchairs sitting empty on a boat dock, and then there's a line of parents with tears just coming down their face. Because I mean, and we've seen it, the first time they participate, the parents are so scared. They're passing over this child that they have in a glass house to make sure they're safe. And next thing you know, they're doing 20 miles an hour behind a ski boat, or 20 miles an hour going down a ski hill, with the cold air and the snow coming down. One of my neat ones with snow skiing, we're probably one of the larger organizations that work with people in the autism spectrum. And I had a mom show up, and they had been to the water skiing, didn't have much success, and she came. She goes, "I just wanted to come, because it's a day. We'll see what we can do." But he's not going to listen to you. He doesn't really take direction. And I mean, hour later, she's sitting there crying, couldn't understand why her son skied so well and the enjoyment on him. And I said, "Well, you'd never taken him snow skiing before." So it's amazing how the different participants with the different disabilities react to it. It's very neat. They go slow their whole life. Everything about their lives are slow. Slow getting into a building, slow getting into a car, and then all of a sudden they're going down a mountain at 20 miles an hour. So it's a pretty neat deal.
Okay,
And
and go ahead.
I will add on to that, because I do believe our staff is really well trained and caring and empathic towards these participants who have varying disabilities, but especially those on the autism spectrum. And I think we are the only program that works really well with those kids and their families. And remember, Dave, the first time we did, one of our participants was a very he was probably in his 20s, Matthew, when he came. And he was so afraid to get in the ski. So we were patient and we let him sit and try. He was hanging onto my arm and almost dragged me along with him, but he didn't. And now he comes and he just is so happy and hops right in the ski and goes. So once they, because we're so patient and caring and understanding, once they're out there and they experience this, they just want it more and more and more. So it's been really, I think that's unique to our program.
So if there's a waiting list, do the people who came 1 year have to wait because the people who couldn't come that same year get advantage the next year, or how does that work?
Not necessarily. I mean, we say on our registration site for the water ski that you can pick 2 of the 5 dates, and so everyone gets to come at least once. But most of them come 2 or 3 times even. So
You generally find the waiting list is something that starts for snow skiing, starts more like in February. I'm sending out an email, this list to every participant last year with the dates first, and then it'll go on the website. These parents plan very well. They plan out far ahead and stuff. So it's generally when someone hears about us later that we might not have a spot available for them. I have a reserve date. We might add a 6th date this year if our initial response is larger than we expect. So it's something you're always fighting. I have 20 safety skiers that come on my weekends because it's very dedicated. It's 2 people per 1 child. So you can be limited by volunteers also.
Okay.
So it's something we're always looking for is more volunteers, avid skiers that we can train.
That's what I'm going to talk about next. You mentioned it takes 2 people per skier on the snow side, and it sounds like you have at least 4 people on the water ski side. So how many
Actually, the water ski side is more like 10.
Oh, okay.
Explain.
Once they're out, yes, there's like 2 people following along on a personal watercraft, 2 people in the boat. But on the pier, we have our equipment staff. Then we have at least 4 or 6 people in the water to help start them. And then we have at least 5 or 6 people on the pier because we get them in their ski right out of their wheelchair into the ski, and then we transfer the ski into the water. So we need many people to do all of that. And then we have safety advisors who are watching the flow of the boats. So it really takes a village to run the water ski part because it's so fluid.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and there'll be 3 boats running at one time.
okay. So you mentioned the village. How big is that village with your volunteers? Saying how many you need on the water side, the snow side?
I think because the water skis it's an event, and so we have at least 40 participants each event and more than that on the bigger events. So we probably have up to at least 30 to 40 volunteers on those days.
Where do they come from?
And I'm in the 20 to 25. A few Sue comes and manages the office for the day, registration and all that. And then I have 2 people on the base fitting people into their equipment and coordinating with families. And then my pairs of safety skiers out there. And we have volunteers who just help push skis around to get them in position. So around 25 for an event.
Okay. And where do your volunteers come from?
For the water events, it's many of them are skiers themselves, either from the Aquanaut Water Show team or just living on Lake Mary or in the Twin Lakes area, and they love to ski. But then we also have many of my colleagues who are occupational therapists or physical therapists come, and that's really helpful because that background. And then we have a nurse who's part of our team, Colleen. She's on our board and she's a certified nurse, so that's helpful to have as well. But it's really through, I think we've just created a really large friend group, and everyone actually, we accumulate people as we grow and they want to be part of our group. I mean, we really are a large friendship group that does this because we're all doing it purely as volunteers because we love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say probably 3/4 of it are personal friends,
Mhm.
people I ski with. Um, I was buying helmets for my kid and recruited the lady at the sporting place to come ski with us, and she skied with us for 3 years. So I'm always recruiting. They all become friends.
Mhm.
We've had people who see us skiing on the mountain will come
Oh, yeah.
afterwards and be, Blake Shields is, a great example. And
Mhm.
just be like, is there any way I can get involved? I said, show up next week.
Yep.
And then once we always say once they drink the Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
there's no not helping once you've
Mhm.
attended one event.
Mhm. Mhm.
And who manages the equipment?
We
Um,
have a gentleman on our board who was a show skier with Sue. He helps run the dock at the water ski events, is our equipment manager, and Garrett manages all the main stuff as far as acquiring equipment and maintaining.
mhm. That's Garrett Adams.
Yeah, Garrett Adams.
Him and I skied on the Aquanauts together. And then once we started this program and he moved, he lived in California for a while. Once he came back and got word that we were doing this, he was all in. So he's been doing this with us since then and managing all the equipment and the trailer. He was able to get this trailer for us and have it. You can see some of our participants on it.
And he's an original member of the board when it was founded.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, what do you find are the advantages or the benefits to the people who volunteer as opposed to the participants who you describe as, seriously having a wonderful time?
Well, I will say that one of the special parts about our organization is that the young kids that come out and volunteer, I've had many of the Aquanaut show skiers that came out and volunteered with us, and then they all went into like speech therapy or occupational therapy or nursing or a healthcare field because of their experience in working with people with disabilities. So I find that very special and unique to our program. And I love that that has happened. And like I said, many of the young people who volunteer really love it. And they're regular. We can rely on them. They're always there and these are young kids, like from 16 to like 25, and they just love giving up their day to come out and help.
I would say, people look for great opportunities to volunteer. This is an A plus plus because I mean it's direct involvement. I'm not downplaying going into a United Way event and volunteering, in a large group, but this is one-on-one interaction.
Mhm.
My safety skiers have personal relationships with the families off season now.
Mhm.
Um, so it's a big thing. My wife's always like, you're pushing them too hard. You're pushing them too hard. No, I'm not pushing them hard. I'm giving them a great opportunity to give back, and everyone really respects that. And
Mhm.
it changes your life a little bit. It
Yeah.
slows you down. It gets you to remember what's really important. A lot of these people are CEOs of companies, national sales reps, and this sort of grounds them. This takes them back, makes you very appreciative of your own children.
Mhm.
Um, the families.
Mhm.
You learn to feel a lot for the families.
And I think,
These people
I
put
think,
in a lot of effort,
mhm.
and you're just happy that you can give them this, these hours. It's important.
I think as well, our own families, Dave, like all of our children, my children have all volunteered and have appreciated everything that they've experienced because of being part of our events and our organization. And like I said, it's fun to be a family, event. My daughter has befriended many of our participants, and still connects with them, on the off season. So that's really nice to see because another reason for participants who have different disabilities is they are now mainstreamed, as so to speak, with all of the volunteers, and that's a great experience in itself. I have many pictures of our volunteers sitting on the dock with the participants and just having a great time. So that is a really another special piece as to why we do these big events, because everyone gets to know each other and has wonderful experiences from it.
Are you looking to expand your program or describe the future of the adaptive sports?
Yeah, Dave and I talk about this all the time because we're not getting any younger. But we do, like, it's really important that we get the younger volunteers, doing this so they can carry on this program. And I know our kids will, but it's really important that we continue this programming. We have grown bigger every single year, and we want to keep that going. So more volunteers are always welcome and needed for the future of our program.
With
You
more,
gotta grow responsibly. It'd be very easy to say yes to everybody, and that isn't the best thing for everyone in the program.
Sure.
So I mean, if you were to quantify it, if I could ski 10% more runs this year, 15% more runs this year with my participants, I would consider that very successful.
Mhm.
We're constantly working on training and being able to offer higher levels of upright ski training and stuff. And that's really my expansion now is younger safety skiers and more quantitative training
Mhm.
will help grow.
okay. Now, we've talked about the clinic days that you each offer on the various sports. What about other groups? Do you do any special group events?
What we have, well, for the water ski portion, we do have groups that come from the Recplex they're in Pleasant Prairie. We have a group that comes from Matthias Academy, which is that's a new, not new, but it's fairly new. So they've been coming, bringing their groups. We've had groups from Shriners, from GLASA, which is Great Lakes Adaptive Sports Association, and Randy Hauser is our treasurer, and his wife, she started that program, and it's from the Great Lakes area, but they bring their groups to us and we partner with them. We used to partner with Adaptive Adventures, but they no longer are here in Illinois. The Rehab Institute of Chicago back in the day, brought groups from there. We would have buses that come from Chicago that bring people up to
Easter
us.
Seals.
Yeah, Easter Seals, Shriners.
Yeah, as far as different events outside of our main purview, we're not doing anything else. I came out of an organization that did a lot of social activities. It would take a lot to create focus away from our main two core events right now.
Mhm.
We do, there is a network of groups that we're all aware of, and we're always suggesting that they get involved. There's another snow ski group that's picking up the pieces from Adaptive Adventures called AMP Sports,
Mhm.
who is looking more and more like it's going to be a sister organization with us.
Mhm.
They offer a little more advanced skiing, so it'll give areas for some of my skiers who are progressing and want to move on to a competitive level. So I think those partnerships and conversations help our families out the most. Being able to offer other organizations. There's a lot of people who do a lot of stuff for the adaptive community in northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. So it's always about being open and making sure that those avenues are open up for our participants.
And there is so nationally, we have, I was on the board of USA Adaptive Water Skiing. And so we do have a national board. We have national competitions down south, and then we have world competition for adaptive sports. So we are training one of our adaptive water skiers, Harold Hack, who we are looking at training him to be part of those competitive events as well. So we do that as well. But most of our participants are doing this recreationally, but we are trained also and we want to have people who want to be more competitive be able to do that.
Thank you for joining me today.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.